Aidan,
How are you doing, mate?
how about introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Aidan, Managing Director, Eco Power Renewable Energy. We got acquired in June by Eco Power, formerly known as ALW Electrical, which a lot of the EPC contracts will know me as. EPCing for 4 or 5 years solid for some of the big install companies in the country. Realised that I could say at times we were getting let down a little bit by the sale. We'd get to site and there'd be a couple of E's and there's, and she did this, he did that. And when Eco Power come in to acquire the company, for me it was just a bit of a no-brainer really. It could elevate us to the next level, and we push into the sale of the market. So that being said, we had to look really quite quickly, as obviously anyone who's acquiring a company, they're going to want to see results pretty sharpish. The be all and end all is the commercial space is not very quick. Nobody wants to make a decision quickly, which is why you've got to speak to these decision makers the first opportunity. So we tried bringing in an internal sales, which worked absolutely fine, but we weren't getting the leads or the decisions that we wanted from the first time round. So then it was third and fourth and fifth. Before you know it, you're a month into one lead, really. A lot of time wasted. So we reached out to a number of different lead generation companies using the force of LinkedIn. And don't get me wrong, absolutely got swamped by the sale massacre of LinkedIn, which was great because it opened my eyes to an awful lot. And we're working with a couple of different lead generation sets, but by far, and you're all going to think I'm getting paid for saying this, but by far, you two were the most, how can I say it? Not so much dedicated, because I think they're all dedicated, but you were more inquisitive to what we wanted. Do you know what I mean? So everything was zoned in about what we wanted as a company, what our aspirations were, what 2025 looks like. On the leads have been great. We've been in front of decision makers. We've been site meetings. There's a lot that you guys do different to others, like getting our own email. Do you know what I mean? You've got a domain to us. You work them leads with your team like you work for our company, which is really important. We've used a few in the past where we've sat on a call and they've been like, yeah, Joe said this, and I'm like, Joe. And in my head, I'm just a bit lost, and then you get a little bit baffled by it. The information that was given was probably not good enough. You guys obviously send the full email chain, the full campaign really that you've done for us.
What would you say the average sort of deal size that we're bringing to you is?
Sort of size I don't think we've had one what's been under 100 kilowatt. Everything's been over 100 kilowatt. The most recent one that you brought to us, which was really good, we sat with the financial director of the group, which was an NHS contract for 17 sites in and around London, which for us is absolutely massive. I think for any company that's massive. So we're waiting now we've had the first initial, we've had the second, we're now waiting for the third, where we've been pushed to a facilities manager, strategic facilities manager for sustainability, where we're now waiting for the framework agreement to be sent over. And then we can start getting the first one. They want to roll out one, and then 2, 3, 4, and so on. Massive usage as a group across the 17 sites, and then there's 2. These are community centres, and then they've got, I think, 3 general hospitals. They were spending something like 25 to 30 million a year on utility. Not just electricity, but on utility, which is absolutely massive. Like, it's just ridiculous numbers. That's probably been the strongest that you've sent us. Or I say the strongest, probably the biggest value, 100%. Well, that's not to say, like I say, we're still working on some that you've sent, which are going to fall into the new year. And we know that because they're like I say, they're at board level.
What would you say are the quality of our leads are in comparison to other lead gen agencies that you've been working with?
Anyone who knows me, I'm just straight as they come. But the couple of others that we worked with, everything was, the key word for me in lead generation, what everybody spits about it when they're a lead generator and then in that sales background is, oh, exclusive. When you're spitting that at me, I know in my head that's not exclusive, because you don't need, when you sell the process, you don't need to sell exclusivity. Oh, it's exclusive to you. It's exclusive to you. For me, we've had a couple what I know has not been exclusive to me because I've got friends in the industry. Believe it or not, we all talk. So I know they've been grafting the same fucking deal I've been grafting, which has come from the same lead generator that they've had before. So I think if you're not using an internal exclusive email, the risk is that the lead's not exclusive and potentially been sold to 3 different parties or given to 3 different parties. I think what people need to realize with you guys is it's not all about quick win money. Obviously, I've met you in person. I've learned a lot about you in the last, we've been working together like 3 months maybe. You're just ambitious like I am. Do you know what I mean? We're young, hungry, but I think what's really important for people to know your vision as well. So if you send us a dud lead, we work on trust and transparency. Look, boys, that we're absolutely tosh that. And you'll quite happily sit there and say, let me look into it. You'll look into it and go, yeah, no worries, Aidan, you didn't speak to the decision maker. Sorry, you were meant to, but you didn't. No problem. We'll give you another one. It's not about you've paid for 2, you're only getting 2. And if you don't close them, you don't close them. Because the be all and end all is we've got to close them. We've got to do our bit of the pie, you know what I mean? But you can kind of only work with what you get in this space.
Which is what we're sort of always trying to push as well. We can't guarantee
No.
how someone is going to act on the other side. It's like recruitment. Like you can't guarantee that the candidate's going to turn up their first day of work and perform for their first month or whatever. You can't guarantee how humans are going to interact and stuff like that. So if you have a meeting with them and it's not progressive for you, then how should that be progressive for us? So we sort of work on
listen, like I say, I'm straight as they come, and we had a bit of a conversation at the start. The first 2 come over, we didn't get the deal set. The deal set for the email campaign wasn't sent over right. Now, that was a really good fact find for us because we highlighted it to you guys. What did you do? You changed your process. Do you know what I mean? But that weren't down to your process. That were down to one of your staff members not following their process. Now, that's fine, isn't it? We got to highlight that to you as a paying customer and say, Dan Roman, that didn't work great, that one. Or why? We didn't get this, and this. No problem. Have we done that before? Now for the rest, no. It's been absolutely fine. Everything's great. And the quality of the leads that are coming, they're great, mate. And long may it continue. And anyone who's getting into this space, I think what they need to realise is that the commercial space of solar is not a quick win. You've got to build these relationships, and you guys, realistically, you just do the first hard hurdle of yes, can we have a chat? Yes, of course we can have a chat. Then it's down to us.
Yeah, it's just filtering through, like, do they have a need, whether that's sustainability, decarbonisation, or reduction in energy costs? If yes, are they interested in solar to help them with the need? If yes, again, then are you ready to have a serious chat about it now? If yes, again, then we're going to book them in.
Yeah, and it's getting that first yes in it. Do you know what I mean? In your sales process. For me, on these calls, the first one really, and we've like I say, we've done a couple more with a couple of leads, and they're saying, you need to propose the system. And I said, I'm not bothered about proposing the system on the first one. It's got to be a discovery. We've got to get to know them. We've got to understand their motivation. The company's motivation, the drive. Are the ESG reporting yet? No. All right, no worries. What's your motivation? Why are you looking at this?
One thing we get a lot is most companies work with, it's less about the money and it's more about the time we're saving them. Like, would you say in terms of prospecting, we're saving you guys as a company like tons of time, or is this something that you think?
Yeah, no, 100%, because we're not sat there with SDRs. We haven't got SDRs. We've got a sales team. Well, that sales team's dealing. My sales team is they're more account managers, not from a sales background. I'm not sat here saying I know everything about sales because I don't, which is why you have to stick to your lane. My speciality is technical install operations. We can't do that because we don't know the process. We don't know where to find them. So there's no point sitting there wasting loads of time, me employing 5 SDRs sat there trawling through Google Earth or whatever, however you do it, to find these properties and find these leads, when I can just pay you guys to do it and they're exclusive to my email.
Okay, well, would you say the pricing structure that we have is scalable, like long term, for companies like yourself?
Yeah, I think 100%. When you look at that, like you say, the time we would spend and the salaries we would pay, especially now with the new budget and the PAYE model not being great for businesses anymore, which is a real shame. But it's a struggle, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? For these big businesses, what have got hundreds of people on the books, that were a big budget change. For us to go to the next level, take on 5 SDRs, what are going to give us what you want to give, it's just absolutely pointless. So the scalability of for you guys, where we can say, look, we want to scale up, we want more leads, the price, you, and being honest, you weren't the cheapest, but you weren't the most expensive. But it weren't that for me. It was how much you looked into us as a company in terms of what our visions were, what our goals were, what our motivation is, what market we want to target. There's people out there what will install on anything. I told you from day one, we don't do care homes. No, and that's not for any other reason other than the project lengths, the time. But you understood that when we actually said that to you and said, look, we don't do care, don't send me any care homes, mate, because I don't want it. And then your question to me, why would you not want that? Well, we've done it before and it doesn't fit the pricing structure that we have. It adds time onto the project. There's loads of hoops to jump through. That's just us as a business. That's just my decision. Probably kicked me in the teeth a few times when I've been offered EPC contracts on care homes. I ain't interested because they're a difficult install to do. You just listen, don't you? Do you know when you take time out to like you say, you came to Doncaster, and it's a long way for you boys, and I appreciate that.
That's what we sort of want to show that is a bit different about us. You know, we're not just sat online on a high horse. Like, we actually want to come to see you guys and build a relationship there, because we want to be in the market. Like, we don't want to just be taking everyone's money and running away. Do you know what I mean? We want to make it work. So we'll do what we can to make the relationships in person. And, you know, we're about in the UK, so I'm sure we'll come up again for a podcast at some point.
Yes,
the bar's been set.
Yeah, it's there. We're on it. The flexibility of you guys is really good. So you're experienced in the sales industry, you're experienced in the marketing industry, and the flexibility of whatever we want, you guys pretty much can deliver. And it's credit to you two as well. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you take enough. You probably don't sit back and look at yourselves and go, do you know what? We've actually done really well here. Do you know what I mean? Because you're both grafting really different. It's really hard, isn't it? You know what I mean? You deal with a lot of different countries. You're working with different time zones, both looking 45 now, and only 3 months where you look 25.
Appreciate it, man.
No worries, boys.
Cheers.